bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsmen Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Hey, what's going on? Welcome into the high school fan zone here, a Tuesday night edition on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Yours on television as well. Thank you for making us part of your Tuesday evening. We've got on tap the Monterey Plainsmen fan zone as well as the Lubbock High fan zone. I'm Chois Woodman, your host, filling in for Randy Rosetta this evening, as Randy is off covering other high school sports. We are here from the First United Bank studio tonight, and we'll be joined by a couple of players as well as Coach Judd Thrash here for the Monterey Plainsmen fan zone. We'll get to talk about a win over the Abilene High Eagles, and we'll look ahead to what is ahead for the Monterey Plainsmen this week as well. And we are joined now in the First United Bank studio by Coach Judd Thrash, as well as Deuce Moore, and forgive me on the name, Javith Cruz?
Q-Boy.
Q-Boy.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I like that. Q-Boy. Okay. So, Coach Thrash, appreciate you coming in tonight. Congrats on the recent win over Abilene High. And, man, got a big one coming up this week as well.
Yeah, no doubt. Very proud of the kids. I thought they performed well. It's a big deal for the Monterey Plainsmen. We want to thank everybody involved, Dr. Rollo, Mike Meeks, our AD, and our principal, Jack Perkypile. You can't do it without a full community and support, and those people have definitely supported us. And, it's a big deal. It's been 22 years since Monterey's won a district title, and I think 18 years since they've been co-district champs. And, we got a big one coming up on Thursday. It's like I told the kids, Caprock is standing right in front of that gold ball, and you've got to play well to break through that. So
we will get into that matchup with Caprock coming up, some of the tiebreak scenarios that go with all of that as well. But this is that was a great win, obviously, over Abilene High, another team that is at the top of the standings. Coach Thrash, take us through what happened in that victory for you guys to get the win.
Well, we started out a little slow. We went in at halftime. I talked to the kids. I know on defense we talked about the alignments. We just didn't line up really good. I think we were a little nervous, but after half, we got that fix our alignments. And then, we started traveling Q with one of their best receivers, number 3. He's a good player, and Q did an excellent job on him. And then, in the second half, we brought pressure. When they subbed in their 10 personnel, their fast package, we brought in our Mustang package, which Deuce is a part of. Deuce goes to defensive end, and there's not too many tackles that can block Deuce Moore coming off the edge. And, that's one of our favorite things to do the last 2 years. And, right before Deuce takes the field, I tell him, I said, get him, Deuce, get him. Because, he comes off that edge, full speed, ready to go. And so we put pressure on him. Quarterback couldn't get off the ball. And then, Kyrie Baxter did a good job at running back, and Deuce did a good job at running back, keeping the chains moving. And I can't say enough good things about that offensive line. It starts up front,
sure.
and those guys were moving them. And they've played well all year, and so it was a team effort. I thought the guys wanted it. This was one of our goals in off season. We put on every kid's locker our goals, and it was to win a district championship and make the playoffs. And they had to see it every single day, when they went to off season. And so I think it gave them a vision, and they definitely came out and played.
Deuce, is that one of your favorite things to when you just get to pin your ears back and go after a quarterback like that?
Yes, sir. We work on it a lot in practice. Like, I got to perfect it because them guys are pretty big out there. So I got to do the best I can.
So, this is obviously you've made the playoffs at this point. You already know that. There's got to be just that thirst and that hunger right now to move on and get that gold ball, right?
Yes, sir. Of course. Like I said before, we want it all. Like, we want the district title. We want to make it to state. We want to get past the third round. We don't just want to go to the first round or the second round.
Y'all can chime in if you've got any questions for the Monterey Plainsmen fan zone. You can bring those in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. Q, we'll move to you next. you take us through your perspective on that Abilene High game and what went so well for you guys.
I think just our brotherhood that we've been having over the past few games in district, just being together, staying together. Defensively, I mean, they had some big plays, and we just had to go to next play and have next play mentality. And then having to follow through whole game. He's a very good player, and I just had to play my game to play him. And then offense just being consistent and moving the ball down the field.
Do you feel like that was a game that really I know you guys have been doing great all season, but do you think that was the one that kind of opened people's eyes, garnered some extra respect for Monterey?
Yes, sir, I do. I feel like it shows that we've been putting in work just because a lot of people didn't think we was going to be able to come through and make it to district or even be close to almost winning district.
But you beat a team that was previously unbeaten and give yourself a chance at a district title this week. We'll get into that matchup with Caprock. We'll talk more to these guys, talk about the game, but also what it looks like after this season for these guys as well. Get to know them a little bit. It is the Monterey Plainsmen Fan Zone, part of the high school fan zone, right here on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsmen Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Back here in the high school fan zone, it's the Monterey Plainsmen Fan Zone on 100.7 The Score and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. I'm Chois Woodman, joined by Coach Judd Thrash, running back / what do we call you? Rush in, nose guard,
linebacker, nose guard. He does it all.
Everything. Deuce Moore, as well as Q Boyd, and you are DB.
The receiver, yes, sir.
Okay. Both ways for two-way players. For what's that like going? I mean, at the 5A level, that's not that common to be a two-way player. So is that a pride thing? You like to take some pride in that?
Yes, I like to take pride in it, but it's very, very tiring on both sides of the ball. But being able to do both, like, you'll want to be able to do both.
Which do you enjoy more?
Oh, running back, of course, running back.
Got the ball in the hands, of course.
Yes, sir.
Of course. What about you, Q?
Yeah, it is very tiring playing both sides, especially if you have to guard the other team's best receiver, and they do a lot of different things. But my favorite, honestly, I'd say DB. I play defense most of the time, so.
Yeah. The lockdown DB, that's something that gets rarer and rarer in the game. So if you got a good one, you gotta stick with it. So as you mentioned, you alluded to, Coach Thrash, you clinched a playoff berth last week for the first time since 2020. You're going to win 5 or more games for the first time since 2019. Monterey is, and if you're able to get at least a tie for the district championship, it'll be the first time since 2006 to share that with a win over Caprock. And if there is a loss, I guess we're all Tascosa fans this week. If there's a loss for Amarillo High in that rivalry, then you guys can get the outright district championship for the first time since 2002. That's crazy. I didn't realize that those gaps had been that wide. But man, that's gotta bring your program some pride to be able to do something like that.
No doubt. Very proud of our team. Last year these guys, I've kind of had these guys since they were freshmen and just coming up, and they don't know any different than playing both sides of the ball. And they know every time during December they can expect a playoff bracket being on the wall, and they can expect to watch state championship games in the weight room. And so we've been talking about this for a long time, and it's like a dream that's come true. But, that dream, like I tell them, it won't come true unless you work extremely hard. And so I can remember last year, November, the kids took it upon themselves to, do football on their own, out when it was sleeting and cold outside, and trying to train themselves for this type of playoff weather. And so, they've had it in their mind, and they've done the necessary things to get it done. It's been awesome to see these guys grow up, and they're like sons to me. I spend more time with them than I do at home sometimes, and so I've got to see these guys grow up, and it's been a real joy to watch them grow up, and they've done a good job for our football team, and they've become better people as the years have gone on. They've grown up, and it's good to see them mature.
Let's get to know these guys just a little bit more. Q, what's your favorite hobby outside of football?
Honestly, I'll probably say photographing. I like taking pictures.
Okay. Like of landscape,
Honestly,
people, what?
People, going to games, and then watching like other people play, but also take pictures for them.
That's cool. What about plans after high school, after football? What do you got? Or is there more football involved?
More football, but then also I want to be like some type of like business owner. Okay. And then right now I also do cybersecurity at school.
What is the toughest thing about playing for Coach Thrash and the best thing about playing for Coach Thrash? Act like he's not here.
Honestly, I just say, I don't know, tough. He's tough all the time, but that's just because he wants us to be good whenever we actually play. Tough in practice, in the weight room, pushing us in the weight room, pushing us on the field. So then in the game, it comes easier to us. And then the good thing about him, I mean, he's been helping me since freshman year, and then got me bigger, and then just got me to mature up more.
All right, well, now Deuce has an advantage because he gets to answer those questions on the other side. He gets to think about them a little bit more. But we will hear from Deuce on the other side, and we will get a preview looking ahead towards the Caprock Longhorns and go through a couple of those tie-break scenarios of what it looks like for Monterey and potentially getting a 1 seed for the playoffs. All of that still to come. It's the Monterey Plainsmen Fan Zone, part of the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the latest news from Monterey Athletics. This is the Plainsmen Fan Zone podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Back here from the First United Bank studio, it is the Monterey Plainsmen Fan Zone, part of the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. I'm Chois Woodman, joined by Judd Thrash and a couple of his players. We've already vetted one, but it's time for Deuce Moore's turn to go through a few. First, favorite hobby outside of football?
Play the game and hang with the guys for try to get to know them a little bit better.
Okay. What about plans after high school? What do you see yourself doing?
I always see football as life, but like if football don't go right for me, I want to work into real estate.
Okay.
Like they already told me, some of the teachers said I can get my license while I'm in high school.
Yeah.
I want to learn, but I want to learn more about it.
Sure. And toughest thing about Coach Thrash, best thing about Coach Thrash?
Waking up in the morning. I have that problem every time, but like I've been doing better and trying to get better because I want to better the team, try to prove myself each day. Best thing about Coach Thrash is each workout will get you right. Practice will get you right. He'll have you going in the game prepared.
All right, Coach Thrash, what's the best thing about these two guys?
I would say Q. He's highly intelligent, real smart as far as his X's and O's, and he's fast. He can run with the best of them. He's got great speed, but he's a real smart football player. He asks good questions. He studies the game, and he's really good at like last week he picked up some things and told the coaches some things that he noticed. I mean, he's always watching film. And then Deuce is tough. He's a great football player. He'll play different positions, willing to do whatever it takes to help the team. If I say you're going to play nose guard this week, Deuce will say let's go. Okay. If I say Deuce, you're going to play defensive end, he'll say let's go. He's a team player, and he doesn't mind playing both sides, both of these guys. And like I said, I've seen them come a long way since they were freshmen, and they have their mindsets have definitely gotten a lot better, both of them. As the years have progressed, and can't say enough good things about them and their growth. And again, they're learning how how important the team concept is, and that brotherhood that you have with your team. And those guys have really embraced that this year. These two have.
So you got the Caprock Longhorns on tap for this week. This is obviously a big game. Is that something you're trying not to talk too much about as far as the district championship, or is that something you're leaning into?
No, it's full on talked about now. I say, I told them the last 2 days, I said, Caprock is standing between you and a gold ball. Yeah. And I said, you got a chance to be a legacy at Monterey High School. You got a chance to get your picture up, and, it's a big deal. And these guys know what they're playing for, and, they've been working relentless to get this goal, and so they're well aware, and I feel like they're going to come out on fire because they're excited about this opportunity. And in the last 2 days have been our best 2 practices all year. I go home usually, and my wife reminds me that it's Monday. You don't usually have good practices, and this Monday when I went home, I did not say that.
Yeah,
I was like, man, that's the best practice we've had. And she's like, really? And so that's a good thing. And so told the guys that too. And we didn't have school, so it was out of routine. So I was expecting, not to have a good practice, but they practiced extremely well Monday and today. A lot of focus, more focus than I've seen. I guess these guys are realizing that, hey, if you can beat an Abilene team that's in the top 10 and undefeated in district play, you can play.
So we've talked about it. You've Tascosa and Amarillo High play. We've talked about that scenario. But if Amarillo High happens to win that game, you go into a 3-way tie, assuming a win over Caprock. You could have a 3-way tie for first place. What happens at that point?
When you have the 3-way tie, it goes to points, and our point differential, because of how much we beat Abilene by more than 12, will be the number 1 seed. And then as far as the playoffs are concerned, we'll play the fourth place team at Lowry Thursday night at 6, and that would be El Paso Bel Air right now with the standings, which is the 4th place team.
So there you go. So if you win, you've got the 1 seed. That's
yes, sir.
Be a comforting thing.
Oh yeah, for sure. Our guys played well Friday night, and I can't say enough good things about how they played. They played with their hair on fire, especially I think a little bit of the motivation came from when Des Calderon Lewis went down. Mm-hmm. The team rallied for that. They've become really close to one another, and that fired them up. Well,
Coach, good luck against the Longhorns, and I mean, who doesn't love to beat Longhorns? So hopefully you guys can get the dub, and look forward to talking to you guys in the future.
Thank you for having us on the show. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank all y'all for coming in. It's been the Monterey Plainsmen Fan Zone here on 100.7 The Score. We'll have the Lubbock High Fan Zone coming up next.